Sure.
in different ways.
Yep.
Losing on a play like that.
Right.
How long did that stick with you and just how personally?
Sure. Yeah, and
Page and getting on.
Yeah, I thought 2 weeks ago, leading into the game, I handled it about as well as you could. A lot of emotions come up during when you see familiar faces and young men that you really care about and you love, and those kind of things. And then to lose the way we did was absolutely heartbreaking. I don't know. Whenever you lose a game like that on something that you haven't seen happen before, I think it's going to stick with me forever. So it's not something that you're going to get over. You've got to learn from it, deal with it, help the players through it, and that kind of thing. But I thought I handled the week and the weeks leading up, as well as you could. And obviously there was a lot more things that were going on with the program and Ty Lee and all those kind of things that was kind of a culmination of everything. And then yesterday, going to the funeral, paying respects, and Coach Brown and Lonnie Galloway and Mitch Mason and J.J. Jones were absolutely amazing. The love and the care, the genuineness of everything that they've done for Ty Lee and his family, really for the last 2.5 years, has been nothing short of spectacular. I think in this day and age of college football, I think there's some kind of things that have turned into transactional relationships. And from being here with Coach Brown and to see him, how he's handled all situations, but especially this one with Ty Lee and his family, there's so much good in the world. There's so much good in him. And, it was just to be able to witness it. And I didn't get as close to Ty Lee as I would have wished to have, but to be around his mom, Miss September, and just see the resolve and the strength and all those things through that entire family, through Ty Lee, was inspiring. I would like to add too, I've known Lonnie Galloway since he was 18 years old. And I don't know if I've ever been more proud of him. We've won a lot of games together and we had a lot of fun together in college, but the man that he's become, and watching him, the love and the care, and the genuineness of his relationship with Ty Lee, with Miss September, how he has handled himself with his receiver room and really the entire team, I just think speaks volumes of his character, and obviously how Coach Brown has rubbed off on him as long as he's worked for him. There's good in the world, and there's really good people that care about others regardless of circumstances and are there for them. And it was on full display, I would imagine, the last 2.5 years, but I've gotten to witness it the last 9-10 months and over the last 4 weeks. The leadership, the care, all of those things have been very inspiring. So,
with how everything starts up front defensively,
sure.
What is the primary issue with the run defense, the chunk plays, explosive
Sure.
plays, and just not being able to stop the run consistently?
Yeah, so I think early in the season, and then it stretches. I mean, the defense looks the way it's supposed to look. Fitting gaps, playing really hard, which they do all the time. But I think at times, in the journey that we've been on, and you guys have been on it with us, is sometimes trying to do too much, hopping in and out of gaps. On Saturday, it was a lack of communication at times, whether it be a check or the base call or whatever the case may be. Just making sure the consistency, and it starts with me, the consistency of the communication, the consistency of the application of the techniques to be used has to be there all the time. Because when it is, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch. Then at other times, just things happen that as coaches, we've got to make sure that there are no ways that communication or the technique can be at all in the gray.
In responding to a similar question, Mac also said guys trying to do too much.
Sure.
How hard is it to coach guys to not try to do too much in those situations? Because if one guy's out of place, maybe 10 are in place, but if
Yep. It's tough. It's tough. And I think that's just the trust and the understanding that we've got really good players across the board. And just do your assignment, do your job, and the other really good player that's next to you is going to execute and do his job. And then as a collective, then we'll get off blocks and go make plays. And that's what we have to be consistently doing. And one of the big messages all of last week is every single day, I pulled out about probably 10 to 12 clips of them executing, playing the right way, playing with tremendous effort, which they do, and making plays. And that's just what we have to see every single play. And, we've got tremendous players that are very conscientious. They care very much. And just the consistency and the communication has to be at a high level at all times.
I have to ask a follow on that.
Sure.
68-yarder, the one that won the game.
Yep.
Was that just a matter of getting whipped at the line of scrimmage, or did someone try to do too much? What happened?
No, I'd say that was more of a thing in communication. And just one of the checks that we'd been doing the entirety of the game, or excuse me, the entirety of the second half, didn't get put on, and then another flaw in the communication happened on the end, on the edge of the defense. And when you do that at two critical spots, things like that should never happen. So,
at that point, Geoff, it looked like they were playing for overtime.
Sure.
Or at least kind of playing it safe.
Right.
In terms of just.
Well, the first play of that drive, they spit it out on the perimeter, and as things are going, you don't know, because you can't see it's on the other side of the field. Are they trying to run a rollover to get out of bounds so that they're going? So you have to do all that calculus in your mind too, to what the best thing to be in. But still, the communication from the sideline to the players, from the players to each other, and it all starts with me. So I don't want to get too many specifics because I want it to be all on me. I don't want it to ever be on the kids.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yep.
Did you feel like were your calls reflective of the fact that this thing looks like it might be headed to overtime
Sure.
there? I mean, was that almost like a safe call that
Right.
you all had, or did that get screwed up?
Right.
Like in terms of the call, I'm saying.
Yeah, there was two different calls, and I won't get into the details of the calls, but two of the base calls that we had, that we're running, cycling through in the second half, is what got us.
Were there any common threads from, obviously you touched on, that last play of last week's, but second quarter was kind of similar, I guess, in the sense that, they kind of were able to get some runs, get
Yep.
field goal range to kind of close up the half.
Right.
I guess, situationally, did you notice, common threads of, I guess, giving up those yards, in the,
Right.
in the passage?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I mean, they had some, want to give credit to them as well. They executed at a high level as well, had some new wrinkles that I thought we got, handled at halftime, handled throughout the sidelines with the iPads. But give credit to them. A couple of the quarterback runs were kind of new things that hit versus a couple of pressures that were dialed up for some other things. So hats off to them, for making those plays. But, we just got to continue to we're really good when we get our feet set, everybody's on the same page, and we're playing really fast. And so my job is to help these guys be able to play at that level at all times. So that's been the big emphasis, with them during the bye week.
Geoff, Mac was talking about with this bye week coming when it does after the loss of Georgia Tech and
Sure.
after the tight lead, that he's sort of treating this as a chance to just start over, have
Right.
this be a new 5-game season, basically. Is that what you've been preaching to the guys as well, just wiping the blackboard, cleaning your...
Yeah, kind of. So to echo his point, we're always going to follow the direction of Coach Brown. I mean, he sets the tone, he sets the mindset, and so we've gone back and just gone day one install, re-putting things back up. Here's how it is on day one install. There's carryover throughout the season with that, but certain tweaks and things that accumulate over time. So we went back last week and we just kept talking about day one install, so they can get their feet set and they can play really fast.
Let me go back to the last play. Ruck was, we know he's going to back it over. It looked like
Sure.
Marcus took a shot in the knee
Sure.
and was bad off.
Right.
I don't want to call it laying down, but a lot of players, Georgia Tech did a lot.
Sure.
What's the coaching side of that?
Yep.
To tell a player like Marcus, look,
Right.
You gotta get on.
There's so respect Marcus for his toughness, respect Marcus for how he's battled through things. Tremendous amount of respect for the weight he's gained and the strength that he's gained in the last year. But that was a teachable moment for him, is because the previous play, they run the rollover, the little screen, he gets banged up. It's okay in those moments to get the trainer out there and get somebody that's 100%. Respect to him that he cares so much that he wanted to be on the field. And I'm not saying he was the reason why it happened, but someone healthy could have gotten the play down for a 12 to 14, yard gain as well. So hate that those learning lessons had to happen on such a critical, heartbreaking play, but that was the coaching point we got back in here on Sunday. If you're not full speed, we've got other really good players that can come in and let you, But respect to him for, wanting to be out there and wanting to battle it out, but it was a teachable moment.
When you look at Virginia, what are some of the challenges that they present on the offensive?
Yeah, so they've got really good players. They've got an experienced offensive line. Both quarterbacks can hurt you with their arm and their legs. They make a lot of plays both ways. And so just the assignments and the discipline and all those kind of things, fitting it up. They do some eye candy, but a lot of the things are going really, really fast. Tempoing, formation to the boundary, all those kind of things. They present problems schematically, tempo, and they've got really good players that know the system, executing it.
What kind of relationship do you have with Coach Elliott? I mean, you were both in the ACC.
Sure. Yep. So got to know him pretty well his first year in the league as a head coach, and then stayed in contact with him. And I know they had a similar tragic, thing happen to their program, losing 3 other players, which is absolutely heartbreaking. And see the character of him through all of that as well. And so we would keep in contact, and during my year off, I would text him quite regularly because I have a tremendous amount of respect. Anybody that shows genuine love and care and concern for their players, that speaks volumes to me, and those are the kind of people that I want to associate myself with, and that's who he is, and so he's doing a really good job.
Jeff, so along the lines of what Tommy kind of asked you with Marcus Allen, do you guys sort of need to keep a closer eye on Kamen Rucker, because it seems like he's limited out there, maybe trying to be a warrior and play through some things.
Sure.
Like, is that, in your analysis of this defense, do you feel like he's playing less than 100%?
So one of the biggest things is the level of care we have in the program from all the players. Luke Ross, our athletic trainer, does a tremendous job with our guys and making sure that we're tempered in any of our activation of our players. And, when he gives the green light, we make sure we have that cleared. And then Ruck does a really nice job. He is a tough guy. He plays really hard, really fast. He wants to be out there for his team. But he knows that Jacoby Cowan's been playing really well in his stead. And then Tyler and Jabron can go, and they've gotten meaningful snaps as well. So absolutely, we would never put any of our players in harm's way. So I would, make sure the training staff and Kamen, we have a good enough relationship that, hey, we got you, if there's anything lingering or anything like that. But, he had some nice plays, but, I think the being out for 4 weeks, that's a long time to be out. So getting back into that game shape and those kind of things, which I'm glad he had this week to get another week under his belt of preparation.
Is that something you have to talk to him about? I hear you on the
Sure.
mechanics of a guy being available to play.
Right.
But, like, in terms of your assessment,
Right.
when you watch him play, is that something you have to talk to him about? Like, you might not be all the way back here.
Sure.
We might need to be a little more cautious with you.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a constant daily conversation with him and Coach Monachino and myself. And, Ruck is, what's the best way to say it? He knows his body, and he wants to make sure that he's doing everything he can in the rehab room, out on the field, so that he's at 100% when he plays as well.
What kind of challenges does Anthony find here? But then obviously running quarterbacks have kind of stumped you guys the last couple of weeks. I guess, what can you kind of
Sure.
game plan?
Right, absolutely. I don't want to get into the schematics, but a lot of things, making sure that we're understanding every single framework of our defense. It goes back to old triple option football, dive, quarterback, and pitch, making sure the proper assignment and the person who has it in each part of our defense understands it and plays it at a high level. So that is the conversation every single week. But then when somebody is as fast and athletic as this kid, it heightens everything in that regard.
All right.